So our next guest, we've had Olympians and coaches, and now we've got the man who's going to carry the football. Can't wait to get back on the field and start up fall camp. Missed last year with an ACL. He's back. He's healthy. He'll be the featured running back when the Cougars take the field next month against Southern Illinois. Yeah. That's next month. Our pleasure to welcome Hinckley Ropati to the Wise Guys. How does it feel to have the wait just about over?
Oh, man, it's exciting. I mean, everybody's looking forward to it, especially with the preparation that's gone into this offseason. We're super excited.
Yeah, and I personally know Hinckley's been putting the work in because I caught him putting work in today, right? So, and you told me that you had a chance to work out with Tyler Algier earlier today.
Yeah.
And then when you were done with your workout with Tyler, you met Neil Pau, and you were getting a workout in with Neil this afternoon. That's when I saw you at the gym. This is a week where you guys are off and you're on your own, but you haven't taken a break. You're connecting with some of the alums that played before you that you're good friends with, and you're working out with them. What's that like to train and get together with Tyler Algier, who's an old teammate and now having great success in the NFL?
No, for sure. I mean, I like to. I mean, it's always good, especially in this offseason when the pro guys get their break and you get to pick their brain when they get into town. And so Tyler usually comes every offseason. He finds kind of a week just to come out. We kind of find time to work out and just hang out. And so that happens to be this week. And so he's actually down for me and my wife's baby shower this Saturday. So that's actually the event why he's ended up coming this week. And so we've just been hanging out, getting work in and so forth. And so, but yeah, I've actually been able to work with other guys like Jalen Warren, who plays for Pittsburgh Steelers. So I've worked out with him and some other college guys. We've been working out together with Matt Asiata, who trains up there in Harriman. So we usually do running back stuff with him. And
sometimes I see Matt in the gym. We always talk and visit. When we get to go stretch over on the green carpet, he and I'll just talk about what's going on. So
no, exactly. So being able to work with those pro guys, it's honestly a huge blessing because you get to kind of get an insight on how it really works at the next level and kind of figure out, where you are, stack up against those guys and how you can, improve what areas that you can get better at. And so it's good.
Speaking of stacking up, a lot of times Blaine doesn't like guys coming on the show that have bigger guns.
Yeah, he's bigger.
But clearly,
Hinckley's guns are bigger.
We removed that restriction.
Yeah,
for
DJ,
tonight.
let's get this shot because everybody they're always like, oh man, Blaine's got guns.
Show your guns.
These guns compared to these guns are nothing.
This man's veins ridiculous. Come on now, look at this.
So Neil always tells me, Paul was always like, hey, for an old guy, you look good. I'm like, Neil, why do you have to qualify it like that? Why do you got to say for an old guy? Can't I just look good? He's like, well, you look good, but for an old guy, you look really good. I'm like, okay, I'll take that.
That's Neil. He's going to shoot it straight.
Hinckley, let's talk about your knee, the ACL, 11 months since you went down with that injury.
Yes,
are you fully back, ready to go, and what's it been like getting back?
So it was actually it was a meniscus and an MCL.
Okay.
So my ACL was my first injury, right, and that was my first year.
Right.
And the left knee that I had that happened last fall was actually an MCL, and my meniscus was fully detached, my lateral meniscus, and so obviously that took me out. The timing of it's not as bad as an ACL.
Okay,
but
that's good.
The timing of it was right before it was right in fall camp, which took me out for 5 months, right, and so it's definitely been everybody knows who've been through injuries. It's more of a mental battle than it is physical. You can usually bounce right back physically. It's just kind of getting over that mental hump that I can make those cuts again. I can make those plays again. And so, being able to, they weren't gonna let me do spring at all. The objective this whole off season is just get healthy, stay healthy for fall, and then that's all that's been. But I firmly believe that I needed to do spring ball, and I needed that to kind of feel confident, get back into and get over that mental hump, and that's exactly what happened. And so I was able to have this spring ball to kind of just get my feet back under me, and I truly feel like I'm ready to go fully healthy. So yeah.
You mentioned the timing of it this last year, right when you were going to be relied on to be a big part of the run game, and then the run game struggled this last year. How did you manage through that? Had to be wanting to be out there to be able to help the team, knowing you couldn't. What was that like?
I'm gonna be honest. It was very, very frustrating. I mean, sometimes if I'm being honest with you guys, there's times where I turn off the game and just go back and rewatch the replay where I can rewind and so forth. Just because sometimes it's frustrating, and a big part of it was just obviously we just, I feel like we weren't on the same page in the offensive, side of the ball. I feel like there was a lot of times that there was a disconnect, and a big part of it is us as running backs being able to set up our runs for the O linemen, making their job easier and stuff and so forth. And so I feel like a lot of it just comes with reps. Obviously we had, guys that came into the system and great players, you know what I mean, did their thing, but there was just so much also inexperience as well within the O line, and it's awesome to see this past spring, to see all those guys kind of come out of their shell and really like grasp the playbook and kind of what's that called, grow so much from the past season. And so
we watched that we've talked about it on the show, and others have been on. Darius came on and talked about exactly what you're talking about. And during spring ball, as I got to watch, it was almost like I just watched light bulbs going on across the front on offense. Yeah. It's like in different positions, like, oh, he just figured it out. Like, he's starting to dominate.
Yep.
And so when people say, why do you think BYU is going to be so much better? I've been saying, I just think everybody's on the same page and knows more what they're doing. In your mind, is that a big part of why you'll improve this fall? And what else is there? There's that part of everybody knowing what they're doing. Is there anything else that you think will help BYU be better this fall?
I think it stems from that itself. Not just like, the biggest thing is for me as a player is I was able to fully kind of just be me as a player and really just go out there and play when I knew exactly what you're doing out there. When you're not worried, you're not second guessing what your assignment is and things like that. You can really now you're just relying on your abilities. You're going out there and just playing. I feel like with that comes confidence, and so I feel like that's another factor that stems from knowing our playbook and really understanding the offense in depth. And so the fact that everyone's starting to get on that page, and you can see it in spring ball, I think that's what's gonna really propel us and really have a great season. Get back to the explosive offense that we're used to watching.
Hinckley Ropati on the Wise Guys tonight, presented by Brady Plus. Hinckley's 5'9". Now the roster says 215. I'm guessing a little more than that. Where you at?
A little bit. I mean, I hover like around 220, 225.
Is that where you want to be?
I usually go into training camp around that weight, and then by the end of the season, I usually fall down to 215. 215. Just from work practice and stuff like that. But yeah, I try to come in a little heavy, put some. Fall camp, it's
what's Tyler weigh? Is he like 225?
Yeah, he's like around the same.
He's about the same size. Yeah.
225.
And height wise, he's really similar, isn't he? Or is he maybe an inch taller?
He's tall. He's a couple inches taller.
He's 5'11". I think he's 5'11".
5'11", right?
Yeah. But most running back people, maybe not realizing in the NFL, that range typically there's a few guys taller.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson's tall, but 5'9" to 5'11" is kind of the what running backs in the NFL are, right? And 210 to 230. Right, so exactly. You're right in that perfect.
Yeah,
and I don't think people understand that running backs are a little closer to the ground. Why is that an advantage?
Well, for me, it's a huge advantage. I feel like, especially with my past experience since being here. It's hard to also find someone that's a lot smaller than the guys that are blocking from. You know what I mean? It's very hard to keep track of. But at the same time, especially when we're running between tackles, you're making such sudden cuts and stuff like that, and it helps to be low to the ground. And so I think that's why I feel like that's what benefits me from.
And the first part, him meaning they can't see him.
Yeah.
So if you're on the defense, he just pops out in a gap, and then they're on their heels, and then Hinckley just runs over him or around him, right?
Those 6'7" linemen help to hide you a little bit. Last time we saw you on the field, BYU was beating Boise State, Stanford, and SMU at the end of 2022. So August 31st is next month. How eager are you to get out there and get the football back in your belly and do something?
I'm super eager. I think I'm just really excited just to be out there with the boys again, playing out there with the boys, suiting up again with them. It's like I say, it's a mental battle when you're not playing, when you're not being able to suit up and be there with the boys on Saturday nights. And so that's the one thing I'm looking forward to the most, is just being able to be out there with my brothers again and obviously being able to, produce and make plays for the team. And so I'm really looking forward to it. I've been itching since I went down, and then watching last season and, how that played out. It was very disappointing just to not be able to obviously make a bowl game and, the way the season ended and stuff like that. So I think everybody's hungry, to get back and not only, not only meet expectations but excel, those expectations, and so yeah, we're super excited, man.
This off season, there's some changes in the coaching staff. You guys still have Harvey as your running backs coach, so you still have the same coach in your room. We have a new run game coordinator in TJ. He's been on the show with us. Kevin Gilbride's the tight ends coach. He's really involved in the run game because those tight ends are attached and block. He's been on the show with us. And there's been a huge emphasis through spring ball on getting the run game back. What's it been like in that running back room with that emphasis, and who else can we look to in that running back that's going to be in that running back room that's going to be a big part of what you guys do this fall?
No, I've said this before. The new coaches that we just hired this past spring have been a huge factor in the spring ball and why our success is, why I can see it really rolling now. Because a big part of it is you can see the O-line finally really kind of everything just clicking, and you can see the development of younger guys that's been there for been here for a year or two. They've looked, in my opinion, they've never looked better than they did in one spring ball than they did in the last 2 years they've been here. And a big part of it is just how simple Coach Woods is able to break down the run game, and he does the same thing with the running backs. We had a meeting, I think, one time during spring ball where he just brought all the running backs and all the O-linemen together in one room, and we went through film together, which is something you think that we should be doing more often, and so just to be able to see how they block and how our tracks affects the way they, what I mean? And so all of that, I think it's going to be a huge factor. And then obviously Gilbride, getting all the tight ends and us and the O-line all on the same page, it's going to be huge. And so, I mean, in the running back room, we definitely have some dogs in there. So, and a lot of young talent. I mean, you guys already know, Miles Davis, having him being able to get back out there, and then LJ Martin as well, right. True freshman last year. And the kid's going to be really special. And so I'm excited to see what those guys do this year. And then we have a lot of younger guys that are just coming on the scene, right? Some freshmen like None and Pokai and Charlie. And so it's really exciting to see those guys develop and see how they can contribute, this year.
You said something which was an ultimate BYU moment. You get ready for this big season in the Big 12, also coordinating a baby shower coming up this week. Yeah. This is the full BYU life, isn't it?
That's the BYU experience.
Yeah, that's what they say, right?
Tell us what feels the best. Scoring a 48-yard touchdown on a screen pass at Boise State, or running for a 43-yard touchdown through the Stanford defense?
Oh, man, I think the Boise State one was definitely special just because it was the first, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you're always going to remember your first, and so that was definitely a surreal experience, and so I that's the only reason why I put that. But I take a run over a pass, I mean, I love the rushing yards more than, receiving yards, but definitely that I put that one as number one.
Let's touch on your journey for a moment. A couple more questions with Hinckley Ropati. Keelan Marion just came into the house. He's going to join us in a few minutes. We're going to ask you about Keelan in a minute as well, and then we'll ask Keelan about you.
But Keelan gets the last word, which I've heard that's the case a lot, that Keelan gets the last word.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard. So.
Stand by.
That's my guy right there.
So your journey is fascinating, and we've had a chance to experience it. BYU comes to recruit you your senior year of high school, and they tell your coach they thought you were too small, and that ticks you off. Mm-hmm. Devastating. You serve a mission in the Philippines. You get bigger, get physical, and develop spiritually, and then BYU comes back when you're at Cerritos, and you're kind of not all that excited to see him. Your mom is, but you're not, because you're still bugged about high school, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so much for first impressions.
Yeah, exactly.
How motivating was the snub, we'll call it, and then you go full circle to where you're going to carry the football maybe on the first play of the game next month?
Honestly, it's been real motivating. Like you said, I mean, I feel like I've always played with a chip on my shoulder, and so that chip just got bigger when BYU, especially BYU, like growing up as a BYU fan. And super excited, and they came to check you out and so forth, and then just to find that out, it was definitely a big motivator for me. And so I kind of just went on my mission, and I just forgot about that. You know what I mean? I knew that, my dad always, he told me, he gave me a blessing. I remember the first thing he said was or the most prominent thing I remember was that if I just go and just forget about everything else, and then, I'll come back and everything will be taken care of. And I just remember, the last couple months before mission, I knew I'm not going to go to Dixie State anymore. I'm going to come back and take the JUCO route and, bet on myself. And, and then things start to unfold. And then when BYU, like you said, started getting attention, yeah, I definitely wasn't that excited. But that's after that was before I met Harvey. It was AJ Stewart first who was recruiting me, and then Harvey came into the picture, and I think it was just a match there. You know what I mean? Talking to Harvey Young and then seeing his perspective and how he coaches and the way he brings up players, and I felt like that's something that just fits me very well. And so, in
this same time period over the last couple of years, the two women that are in your life that are most important, your mom Lena passes away, and you marry Talon, and both are so impactful. And we learned more about your mom after the Boise State game. Could you talk about a little bit about how meaningful those touchdowns, that touchdown was for you, and how's that shaped you? How was having your mom and actually and letting her go back, right? Giving her up for a while. How has that impacted you?
Man, it's been how would you say? It's been a huge. I feel like it's probably the biggest. How would you say, like, trial I've ever gone through in my life, and so it's impacted me and my family tremendously just because of who she is and who she was to us and our family. She wasn't just our mom; she handled everything. And so my dad, it was just, everybody knows, but my family, my dad, all he did was just bring in the bread. You know what I mean? He just worked and he did that. My mom took care of everything. So for a while, when we lost her back in 2020, it was a very confusing time for us. We were lost for a little bit, trying to understand how to figure out how she did things and and so forth. So we weren't just, and then luckily, but my dad was definitely a huge rock to us and always reminded us of Christ and His plan for us and our Savior and their plan for us, and we kind of just always trusted that. And so I felt like going through that, it definitely just motivated me to just spiritually to do the right things and to always try to remember what she did when she was here on earth, and how she served others. And I kind of use that to the way I kind of use that to kind of as a blueprint for my life, and try to do the same as I go about, And so I feel like that's been the biggest thing. Even when hearing at BYU, my mom is probably the most patient person, and she had to be raising me. There's 7 of us. I'm the second oldest, but I always say this all the time to my siblings, but I was her favorite, but I was her biggest headache, and so seeing her having that patience and not just with me, but with all my siblings, it definitely helped me with my patience when I got here, seeing the way she was, and because things didn't just started rolling for me when I first got here, right. It was definitely, like you said, it was a journey, and so there could have been a lot of times where I could have just said, you know what, maybe it's time to move on or whatever it be, but no, like just remembering her example and understanding how that how patience work, and I just knew if I just continue to put my head down and keep working, everything would just work itself out, and so.
Well, now you're about to become a dad, right?
Yes, sir.
And
when's the baby due?
So she's due on September 13th. So yeah, it's
September 13th. Where are we playing the 12th? Where are we the 12th?
It's Wyoming week.
Is that why? That's Wyoming's the 14th, right?
Yeah. So
September. So is it? It's going to come a little earlier.
Let's have this baby like on Monday of that week. Can we have a baby on Monday of that week?
We're hoping it's either Monday or
let Dave and
later.
I talk to the OB. We might be able to arrange some things to get this thing to come.
You need to be there, and you need to be in Laramie,
exactly.
And you can't be both places. So.
No, you have to be there. So we're gonna see if we can't arrange to have this on Monday, to have the baby on Monday. You're having a little girl, right?
Yeah, we're having a little girl.
You're having a little girl.
What are some of your feelings about that? Becoming a dad and having a family, and now it's your own Ropatis, your own group.
Yeah, it's definitely surreal. I mean, it's something that I've always aspired to be since I was young. You know what I mean? Seeing the examples of my parents and my dad, and how he raised us. I've always bringing up as a youth and serving a mission and so forth. I've always had that in the back of my head. Like, I've aspired to be a dad, and something that it's probably the most important thing to me is to be a father, and I'm super excited that it's finally happening. It's the timing is kind of off right now because obviously it's happening in September.
In September, yeah.
I promise you that wasn't planned, but hey, we'll take it. And so we're super excited. It's really been humbling too. It definitely put things into perspective. But at the same time, I feel like I really won't know until I hold that little girl in my hands, and so it's gonna be surreal because we're naming her actually after my mom, and so it's something that's gonna be super special, and so
it'll be great.
It'll be awesome.
We want you to have the baby here on Monday that week, because I've experienced the other. We were 8 months pregnant, and We're playing in a bowl game against Missouri.
Yeah.
And my wife decided to fly down on the team charter, and we had Kellen at the bowl game in San Diego on the road.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
let's do it. Let's do it at home.
Let's not do that. Let's do it here.
And no way are you having her in Laramie. You know, there's no way
no
that.
reason to go to Laramie other than to play a football game. There was a reason to go to San Diego for a bowl game. We're playing the Holiday Bowl. So I've done it here in Provo, and we've done it on the road. I recommend it home.
Okay.
It's better. So.
That's kind of the plan. So
Hinckley Ropati's on the Wise Guys with us, back ready and healthy. Going to run BYU into their second season in the Big 12. Team reports later this month. They kick off the season next month. Before we hit you up with 5 questions and get you out of the door, we have a bonus question tonight too, so it'll be 6.
That's right.
How important has the Royal Blue Collective been for you and your experience at BYU?
Oh, it's been massive. It's awesome to be able to, have that support from them. I don't think people understand. Like it's awesome just to be able to focus on playing football. Like that's all I worried about now. I used to pick up summer internships and used to do whatever I need to do to get by the summer. But the fact that we have the Royal Blue now, it's been huge. Like now I can completely focus on my recovery, rehab, and being a husband to my wife and just focusing on football because this is the year and that's all I'm worried about. And so being able to have them there, and it's not just the financial support, it's also the mentorship that we get from them. And I think that's the most important part about the Royal Blue Collective. Being able to meet with people who've been in our shoes and have went past that, have done great things after football and understand there's life after football and seeing all the different avenues and opportunities that we can do if we just apply the same mindset that we have in football and into those things. And so it's been really awesome. Great.
Hey, here's a question from the live stream. Where is Ropati registered at? Where are you guys registered at so folks can send some baby gifts?
Oh, I appreciate you. We're actually registered on Amazon and Target. I don't really have like the info with me, but maybe later we can throw it up or something. I have it on my phone, but yeah.
Amazon or Target, Ropatis are registered. So now you know, and it's a little girl, so spend wisely. Yep. That's awesome. I think he's ready, Blaine.
Yeah, so we'll give you your 5 questions. We actually have a bonus, so we have a 6. So, your favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie?
Yeah.
Remember the Titans.
I think that's number 1, isn't it, Dave?
It's got to be.
That's got to be number 1 of all time on the show over the 2 years of this show. Your favorite singer or band?
Favorite singer or band?
Keelan, you're getting these too, so pay attention.
Yeah, he's listening. It's not fair. We should make him go into do a soundproof room. But
all right, singer or band?
I'm a huge country person, so I love Luke Combs right now. So that's my number 1 right now. We actually went to a concert not too long ago.
He was just here, wasn't he?
He was just here, but we went to his previous concert in Texas, in Austin. So my wife and her family is from there, so, the Round Rock area, and so we went out there and we saw a show, and that was a great experience.
I served my mission in the Austin area.
Really?
Many moons ago. Great place.
Yeah, Luke Combs is good. Well, I'm not going to promote something, but anyhow, we went out to dinner the other night at a place, and they have live country music every Friday night. I'm like, why are we not coming here every Friday night?
Wow.
It was
That's
so
nice.
good. I'll tell you after.
All right.
So your favorite breakfast cereal?
Favorite breakfast cereal is Captain Crunch.
Classic.
That's his.
I liked you.
Just plain, or do you like the Crunch Berries or the?
With the Crunch Berries.
I'm gonna
see with the Crunch Berries now. Now we're talking.
The thing is, though, I can do plain as well.
I
think
take them
just
straight.
that cereal.
Yeah.
No, I think you have to have the Crunch Berries because they're a little rounder. So
I'm going to say,
cut the roof.
I'm
going to
say nicer things about you on BYU TV this year because we
you're just making
bonded
him feel
on
good
Captain
because
Crunch.
he's just plain old Captain Crunch.
The thing is, though, you can only, if any real Captain Crunch eaters know that you can't eat them too much. I don't know if everybody goes through the experience, but
you got to be patient.
They'll cut the roof of your mouth.
Cut the roof of your mouth.
You got to be patient.
Exactly.
It's discipline.
I'm so much against plain Captain Crunch that we were down in St. George, and in the aisle they only had plain Captain Crunch and then plain Crunch Berries. So I took them, I put them all in a bowl and mixed them up and put them back in the 2 boxes, all Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. Yeah,
that's the way to do it.
Okay, so Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. Your favorite sports moment?
Favorite sports moment? Here at BYU?
It can be it could be anything you've ever done. It could be at Cerritos. It could be anything.
I think, let's see here. My favorite sports moment was probably my first touchdown. I think that was just
the Boise State one.
Yeah, the Boise State one. I think it was just a long time coming type experience. You know what I mean? And just being able to especially the way the season was going during that time, right? We're on a 4-game losing streak, and there was just so much emotion going into that game. And so, yeah, that definitely was a special one for me.
Yeah, I remember saying after that play, why don't we throw him 10 of those a game? Just throw him 10 screens a game. But we didn't. Nobody listens to me.
That's why we got Keelan.
So,
come on,
we'll throw Keelan some screens too. My idea is, hey, Aaron, A-Rod, let's get our great players the ball in space. He knows that. So okay, your favorite advice that your mom, Lena, ever gave you?
Oh, I think the biggest thing, it really wasn't advice she gave me. It was more of just her example. Mm-hmm. And that was just to always serve others, no matter what your circumstances are. You know what I mean? She is the definition of the person who will literally give her clothes off her back. The last food, I remember growing up, and my parents would literally, I would see them give food away, and I'm all like, wow, we're starving too, but okay, yeah, you know. And so definitely seeing that example, that's something that I feel like I carry with myself everywhere I go. And so
I love that.
Awesome. All right, here's a bonus question.
So this is a bonus question.
We just do 5 for you doing 6.
But we're doing 6 because this is important. What's your favorite thing about Keelan Marion?
Oh, man. Dog. He has a dog mentality, I'm telling you right now.
He does?
Man. That mentality is different. So, like, and everybody knows on the team, bro. Like, Keelan, there's nothing you can talk about anything about him. You can jab him about anything. He can take a joke. But when it comes to football, like, no. He takes that serious. Like, you can't knock on his mentality and the way he approaches the game every single day, the workouts and stuff like that, the way he shows up and stuff like that. Like, everybody always try to, when you come at that, now it's personal. You know what I mean? And I love that about him. You know, the way he takes that, and so you can see it every day with the way he works. And so,
is he the fastest on the team?
Yeah, I put him up there for sure.
Or because Marcus, like, he's all bragging, you know, Mackenzie.
Marcus, I don't know.
And Kingston still thinks he's got.
Kingston's like, he's like, what about me?
So
what about
many
me?
Fast dudes on the team.
You know, I don't
like.
Yeah, there's some fast guys.
It's like,
Maury's he can fly, huh? Yeah,
he can fly.
Yeah,
so
he can really run too.
Keelan's definitely up there for sure.
I mean, we probably just named the top 4 right there. We probably did.
If there was a slice of pizza 40 yards away, just one, and those 4 are running for it, who gets it?
I think I'm getting it. A slice of pizza? I don't think these guys are worried about the slice of pizza.
Slice of pizza. Connor Pay's going to knock all 4 of them out and walk over and get the slice of pizza.
I'm going to knock them out the way.
Knock them out, walk and get the pizza. That's what Connor's going to do.
It's great to have you. Great to have you here.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
Congratulations on the family that's on the way. Give our best to your wife, and we'll see you at practice.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
and I think you're going to hang out in our green room. We'll tape some things for Cougar Board in just a bit, but Hinckley Ropati. By the way, there's a great Deep Blue on Hinckley at BYUtv.org that you can watch. You can also find it on YouTube, and it's good stuff. All right.